the end. For now. Kimmy here.
Oh, the humanity. Tom here.
Storm here. Welcome back, everyone. We're going to be watching more Attack on Titan. We are on the last episode, so we're up to date until the next 2 parts come out for this last season.
Oh my
Can you
God.
believe it?
That's what I've been hearing from you guys, so we can't wait to be caught up and watch the next 2 parts. So this episode is 428, and on Crunchyroll it is 487. Shall we?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Started it all.
Holy
Just to see
they're just
it.
gonna fly over that whole city.
How does he even move?
Oh,
What a way. Wow. You know, for excuse me, a last episode, I know this is something, I don't think this is involved, this is something else. But, and if you guys can let us know if something else just came on, yeah, it says E1, a notebook, so we'll see. But for a last episode or a break before the next part, I like how we had more of a positive, like an uplifting kind of story, where seeing Sasha again, we saw, a while ago when they're all together, they're in the new world experiencing things for the first time. They're drinking, they're having fun with the poor people there that don't have any homes. I'm glad to see that, because I really thought this was just going to be like the last few moments that we saw of just destruction and the Colossals just trampling over everything. So I really just like seeing our team together and being happy.
That was a nice flashback to see that, because it's never going to be like that ever again. I mean, I don't foresee anything like this going to happen ever again. They're not going to be happy.
Especially seeing the point where we lost Aaron, where he was, this person fighting for humanity to being the person who's destroying humanity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And having Mikasa's perspective of saying the hints were there on how Aaron felt about, humanity and killing everyone, besides his friends, like killing everyone outside the walls, and seeing these subtle hints, but choosing to ignore it. Like she's questioning, were they always there? We just tended to ignore it because we just didn't think that was possible, that he truly thought and felt that way so strongly.
Yes.
And
only in hindsight does she see more clearly what was transpiring within him. For now to see, I didn't see it. I didn't see the writing on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Now, it was very interesting this episode because we never see Aaron's feelings on anything. I mean, we do see his feelings. I get he's been through a lot. His mother, to start it all, that was absolutely horrific. But when it comes to, Mikasa, I never really saw those feelings. I know he cares for his family and his friends, but he was questioning Mikasa, he thought there was more there. And I think also because the idea of her genes being an Ackerman and protecting her host at all costs, he was kind of hurt and thinking that she only cared for him because of her instincts to protect him.
Yeah,
so I
she
think
had to.
That's why he was questioning her about how do you really feel about me? And at this point, I can tell that she does really love him in a different
she
way.
was blushing.
She didn't know what to say either.
Yes.
And he's aware of it, it seems like. But it seems like he doesn't know if she's confused thinking that she loves him because she protects him because of her instincts. So it's interesting. And then the question that she's asking, if I said something different there, would this have transpired? That's a huge statement to make. That
is huge.
Because I didn't even think of that. Right. And I was because we did see, during the first time that Aaron did that call many episodes ago when he freaked out when he was talking to Mikasa, and she says something about the scarf, and then, they thought they were both going to die. And then to protect her, he went all crazy and he screamed. and he was able to call the Titans to attack the Smiling Titan or whatever. So that was the only other time that made me question, like, oh, okay, well, he really does care about her and everyone. But in that moment, I was like, oh, that's interesting. So anyways, yeah, so now I'm like, so she can't get in the way to kill Aaron. And seeing all this now, what can they do? I mean, like, are they just going to try to kill Aaron, or maybe she's gonna try to talk to him? I don't know how she's. But hey,
I also hope that she's not blaming herself. Blaming herself, thinking that this could be her fault, the way the world's going right now. If she did say something differently.
If only I said something different.
They caught on early and really talked to him and wasn't like scared to say anything. Was really open with him. And
you have to be yourself in the moment. I mean, if she didn't have, if she didn't have the courage to say how she really felt or say something different, how does she know what's going to happen in the future? She didn't. So she can't blame herself.
But I did notice in this flashback, though, that she did not have her scarf on either.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Now, when she was talking to Aaron, like, I just don't know, like, how much that would change the future, because to do something, I mean, maybe it would, because this was a while ago. So if she caught on early and was able to talk to him, like really talk to him, things can change. And he was so removed after he kept talking about our enemies over the sea. And then after that, like, he was very removed, like, emotionally. He was very numb inside. Like, every time we saw him, he was heavy-lidded and just, like, non-responsive, very slow at responding to things, and there was no real emotion involved. So I think at that stage, like, she regrets not talking to him because he kind of just started dwelling and obsessing over this resentment, this hate, and determination to kill everyone.
Yeah, and always in thought, deep in thought.
Yeah, so he had no, like, true discussion with his friends, so he just, like, full on just went his own way. And also thinking that at least Mikasa was, her instincts were kicking in, and it wasn't who she is, so he just felt like, that it was just that, and there was no, like, connection or anything. So anyways, yeah, this really sucks.
Oh my God! Humanity gonna die? That whole moving wall of Titans. I mean, everyone's gonna go.
Just the looks on their faces were just like, "Oh my God, there's nothing we can do."
Yeah. There's nothing. Absolutely.
I knew it was gonna be bad.
They had their biggest naval fleet just get completely
all the cannons from the world were there.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they could even shoot and destroy a few, because I know they have massive weapons, but the Colossals are just so freaking huge. And seeing them in the water,
tiny between them.
Yeah, and just the ocean, like, yes, it's so deep. I know the Colossals you won't see their heads poking out, like there'll be certain areas where it's super deep and you don't have any scale comparison, so they won't look as big. But I kept telling myself, like, oh my God, these things are freaking huge. They look so small in the water. But the fact that they're swimming, I thought they were just going to be walking the whole time, like nothing stands in their way, and they would make like tidal waves and stuff, because I thought they would just be marching so strongly that it would just push the waves and stuff. I didn't think they'd actually be swimming through, because I just feel like that's more chaotic and stuff, because they're not really smart. They're going by orders or whatever, by whatever the attack titan's doing, or the founder titan, whatever they're being told. So now they're swimming really fast, which now they make even more time that way instead of walking, right? And then they just automatically get back in line. So I was kind of like, it was a horrific scene, but I kind of was joking to myself at one point. I'm like, can you imagine like them swimming? They're all out of sync with each other, and then there's like huge gaps in certain areas, and they're like, freaking Daryl didn't like go back in row 3, and then all these people survived because there's a big open gap. So, I mean, I was kind of hoping that would be a thing, so that way, it would just be some survivors. And we were saying before a few times that we've seen an underground city before. Like, I know the Colossals wait on how they crush the ground. They go down probably several feet, but if you go underground, like in a, underground city, dig several yards underground, couldn't you be safe? Just wait it out. I mean, it would take a few days or so to have them pass through. But
if Aaron knows that you dug underground, he would probably have them stomp a little harder.
I know, that's another thing too. I
don't think there's any real hiding from them.
Yeah.
Or just go airborne, go on those blimp things. We have to go like super, super high to get away from it. Or jokingly, when the ships were shooting at the Colossals, like, I know the Colossals are going to be aware and attack the ships, but I'm like, can you imagine if you're just like floating on top and they're swimming underneath you and they just leave you alone? But there's just too many. Like, one's going to take you idea. Out. It's like, sweet, this is all going boats.
They used their steam like it was nothing.
That's true. That's true. Brutal. That was awful to see that. Yeah, you're right. So they would have had no chance anyways.
Yeah, they didn't even do anything. They just kind of just blew their steam off and they were going underneath them and just kind of melted them all.
That was crazy. Just to see the scale, too, of the Colossal swimming underneath one of the ships. And it's like, yep, look how freaking huge they are. And then they stand up and it's like, Jesus Christ, what? That was insane.
They were probably wishing that they died instantly as opposed to being burned or steamed alive. That was just horrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean...
With just all the soldiers on the land... Mm-hmm. Just the looks on their faces, they were just
they're on a hill
horrified.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to defend Aaron, but I'm going to try to see it this way, where he was triggered initially because his mom got eaten in front of him. Like, what a terrible what a terrible thing to witness. And I feel bad for him too, because he always cared for his friends, and he always said that he wanted to protect them and destroy the enemy. And it became so obsessive that he's trying to do the right thing to protect the ones he cares about. But to actually go that far, to murder humanity outside the walls and even be amongst them for a while, because the flashbacks, they're hanging out with, people outside the wall and seeing all these new inventions and all that. And he's seeing them, some of the main crowd, once that kid stole Sasha's money, got really rude.
Yeah, but Aaron wasn't really involved in any of that. He
probably heard it.
He moved himself, yeah.
Yeah, and...
he already had that cold look on his face,
I know, so just to be around people like that, and even normal people he was around, to actually still go through with it, being like, well, this is for the better good, that's a huge statement, and that's hard.
It's
that's
terrible,
messed
but
up.
so many people have seen their loved ones die through this.
Yeah.
And
what makes
everyone
it right?
had, this kind of,
and start fresh. That's such a... I mean, he's a very complicated guy, but that's a basic way of thinking, too. To be like, this is annoying. We keep getting all this cycle of bloodshed, so let's just murder everyone. It's going to start happening again. Even with a small crowd, no one thinks the same. It's not a peaceful, perfect world.
You get rid of history.
You have opinion. You're going to build up more history, and then
people are always going to remember.
Even on the island, there's going to be animosity amongst people. They're not going to agree with what he did.
But I mean, just you wipe out history, it's doomed to repeat itself again.
Yes.
And they're going to come up with a whole new religion, being like, we got rid of all the devils, everyone that died, we're supposed to die, and God saved everyone, and they're going to come up with this whole new thing, and it's going to repeat itself. It's just a bad way of thinking. I mean, he's trying to save his family, but even trying to do that, Mikasa and Armin almost died. They almost blew up when. There's just so many times where they almost died during this whole thing. They're trying to stop him, but, he's just seeing it as an overall thing now. And then you get all these psychos like freaking Flock and all his followers that
him
blindly just following it now and just murdering people and being on a power trip. It's not good.
It isn't. Even his conversation talking to Flock and telling him what he really is planning on doing. I mean, even Flock's eyes were like, okay.
And then he was committed. It was crazy, to see all that. So, so what do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're going to kill Aaron, or do you think Mikasa's going to be able to talk to him? By the way, all this rumbling, it's so loud. How can you even talk to him at this point?
I'm on a cloud.
On a cloud. He's so freaking big. How do you even get to him? And it's so loud with all the rumbling, So how the hell are you going to talk to him? I don't know.
Get into his ear.
And we'll even listen. He's so committed.
Hanji's going to come up with a plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's just too late in my eyes, and he's willing to murder, and he's witnessing it. He's going to see it firsthand. What happened to him, it's going to happen to millions of people, billions of people. And it's just what are you doing?
Through his hands, through his... doing.
But I mean, I don't know if they can physically kill him from like the outside world. If they have to go into like that spirit realm and do it from in there.
Oh yeah, I don't know
if they can somehow get in there. I don't know if they're able to get in there at all. But
the spirit slap them.
What are you doing? An Ackerman has more than just a protection name.
Yeah, so I really think it's coming down to Eren and Mikasa now, and I don't know like what can happen there, but we'll find out. And then I love Armin. I know he's going to have a major role as well.
He will. Hanji will. Levi will.
I know. I love them all. And I got to tell you, I was giggling a lot to myself in this because Levi, I know he's short, but I love the height comparisons compared to other people. He is small. I know. And that freaking scary clown. It was great.
Oh, yeah. I'm
a lollipop.
Luckily, he didn't have a red balloon. Terrible. Yeah, so I like this episode. Again, I'm glad that we saw some nice moments with our group.
Yes, the ice cream moment was fun.
Those are probably the last nice moments that they had together.
Yeah, and drinking too. They're like, oh my god, this tastes so
horrible, especially
but it's
with the little
fun.
It's fun, and it's it's the little thief's family doing it for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the thief got his money back at the end, so
yes.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let us know what you thought of this episode. Please, no spoilers beyond this point. And we can't wait until, I think, March. That's when it comes out, 4th. From what I'm hearing.
Nice.
March 4th.
So hopefully, I hear things can get postponed, so we'll just keep an ear out to see what you guys have to say. And thank you guys for always keeping us updated.
Thank you.
And we look forward to continuing Attack on Titan when it comes out again. Woo-hoo. So until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you very soon, as always. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.